excited because we also have with us next Christopher HooSang, and he is the Director, Enterprise Workforce Strategy, HR Operations, Diversity and Inclusion at DTE Energy. Hello, Christopher. How are you?
Well, doing fantastic and wonderful. How are you, Marsha?
I am great. Now, see, first of all, I see he, him, his at the end of your name.
Yes.
Please explain that, Christopher. I love it.
Oh, it's just, around gender pronouns, right? And really being able to open and say how you want to identify yourself as. And that way it allows for that dialogue to happen and people can use the right pronoun when they're talking to you.
I love it. So I'm going to have what? So that would be she, her, what?
And hers.
She, her, and hers, right? I love it. So I'm going to have to find that out. You should have somebody in your team because they probably help with all that. Tell them to sit down with you and come up with it because I want to put that behind my name too.
Okay, absolutely. We'll send that to you.
Okay, great. DTE Energy. Oh my goodness. Thank you for your commitment and the sponsorship. We appreciate you. And as Director of Enterprise Workforce Strategy, share with us what that looks like within your organization.
All right. So workforce strategy, I mean, that encompasses everything, both external and internal.
Okay.
That's all of our K through 12 career awareness work, our work with adults with barriers, youth with challenges, individuals coming out of prison systems, so returning citizens, and the like. So that's people with disabilities. The HR, and that kind of plays out, is helping us build our pipeline of talent, not only for us, but for all of the state of Michigan, to be able to really prepare individuals for valued employment. So that's what that workforce strategy is all about. And then obviously we leverage those pipelines to fill roles within our organization, at entry level and skilled trades, and ultimately move up throughout, the company.
That's a lot, right?
Yes.
And you have really touched every aspect of the community, literally.
Yes.
So I was going to talk about your company, but now you've added a whole nother dimension. So please bear with me, okay? Because I think, excuse me, we as organizations don't always think outside of those walls. And you're making these, this is huge, really. Your company is making, and your leadership is making a huge impact on not only Michigan, but the trickle down is all of those people have people elsewhere. What made you all decide that diversity included and inclusion included people who were incarcerated from there all the way to young kids in school? In elementary, middle, high school? That's extreme, right?
Yes.
And how did you get there with that strategic programming, right?
Oh yeah. So what we did is, it really goes back to with the economic downturn and kind of the country in the 2008, 2009 timeframe.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time. Our senior leaders got together and spent focus on what is our true aspiration. How are we really building the essence of nobility? And so things we talked about is we created our aspiration, which is to be the best operated energy company in North America and a force for growth and prosperity in the communities where we live and serve. And so that back half of that aspiration of force for growth and prosperity became really our force for good initiative. And so when we start thinking about our aspiration of how are we going to be a force for good, that's what led us to start to define all these different streams of work. Right. How do we be a force for good in every space to support all people, regardless of their situation? And so we started building programming over time to really kind of say, how do we really get youth involved to understand what careers are all about, to then people with, really adults with barriers. And then we got into working with Parnell Vocational Village. We installed and partnered with them to put in a tree trim program. So individuals or inmates are learning how to do tree trim as they're kind of heading towards parole, so that hopefully they land opportunities with tree trim companies throughout the state and throughout the region, really. And so that's kind of what we're doing, and we're continuing that work to kind of build additional programs for adults with barriers and youth with challenges.
that's huge, right? Because usually you see all of these other, to be in nature after being confined, that's powerful. And I'm looking at it from a spiritual standpoint, the freedom, the air, to be able to touch that. And I'm gonna go back to your term of the essence of nobility. You're gonna make me cry, really, because that's noble, to be able to see the essence of human beings, who they are, and that they still can make a contribution. That's huge. And so internally, as you look at your staff growing, and we're here at the Women of Color, you have positions that are available and you have people that are going to be here this weekend. What do you want them to know?
Yes. Oh yeah. So, DTE, we're definitely, we're a Detroit-based energy company, and we do business across the country in energy services, but primarily our utility business are located here in Michigan. And we're absolutely looking for individuals who want to become part of that value of adding, of being a person of service, a person providing service excellence, whether internal or external, in engineering. We definitely have engineering opportunities available. We have roles in skilled trades. We have roles in renewable energy. We have leader roles, individual contributor roles, folks who are doing operating roles out in our service territories. But more specifically, we do have a role that we're really looking for, and it's called the NERC engineer. And NERC?
NERC. I love that, NERC.
For the North American Electric Reliability engineer, and that's we're looking at both the senior and the principal levels, and so that really requires 4 to 8+ years of experience, and ideally somebody who has relay background, so electric relay, or some compliance, really more of that protection and controls standards. So we'd love to identify folks like that and meet them, and again, folks who come in who want to continue to live our values of service excellence.
That's powerful. And so now you have people, are you going to be interviewing online? They need to bring their resumes. What are the top 3 things that you think your recruiters are supposed to be looking at?
Yeah, the top 3 things is this essence of, obviously the experience. We want folks who can bring some experience to the table here. The other is the connection with our purpose and our values. So that's another item that we'll definitely pay attention to. And then someone who and I think Catherine really said a lot right before me here. Wonderful.
Well, we're not going to, because you have your own thing, because you all are doing some different stuff than Lockheed. So, DT is working here. We like DT. DT is doing a whole other thing now.
Passion, right? It's the passion for excellence. It's that being curious and having a learning growth mindset to help move us forward and continuously improve, continuously get better, never be satisfied. And so that's the kind of what we're looking for in the talent.
Leadership. I have a big thing about leadership, right? And I think a lot of people, particularly young people that are coming mid-level, they don't understand all of the dynamics to leadership. What does leadership mean to you specifically in your organization?
Yeah, all right. So the value of leadership, it's the essence of serving your employees, right? So it's really having your employees and serving them to put them in the best place to achieve their greatness. And so it's establishing, so part of it is establishing that strategy, ensuring clarity around what the purpose is, so that your team knows where they're going. And when they know where they're going, they can feel stronger and more empowered and more passionate about making decisions and doing their daily work in order to achieve that passion or that aspiration. And then really, recognizing, recognition of our employees around where they're doing well and recognizing areas or opportunities for them to improve, and then supporting them through that improvement. So that's, really what we look at leadership is that there's that 3-prong of strategy, setting that aspiration, creating inspiration, and then really performance managing your team for them to achieve their greatness.
So I learned something the other day, And it was really powerful. And I never knew that it occurred in some of these things. But you all have an internship program, I'm sure.
Yes.
Right. And you probably recruit and from whatever. But I heard of an organization that actually has fellowship programs. Right. Okay. Isn't that interesting? Paid fellowship programs. And I've already said this to a couple of people, so we don't have this expectation that you would do it, but that the fact that that exists, usually those fellowships come out of nonprofit, other kinds of organizations, right?
Yes.
But what do you think about that concept? And this is off the grid, so don't get mad at me that I threw this little ringer in on you. But it just shocked me, right? Like I wasn't having this expectation. And fellowships really help you get into the bowels of an organization, right? With the leadership role. Does DTE have some kind of program with, maybe it's within your internship, that people can actually see the different levels or have these different level experiences or views? Maybe it's the view of that. I don't know, but I'm curious.
Right. So we have a variety of programs. So I'd say all of our student programs we pay. We pay salary for. So our summer student programs, co-ops, all of that receives pay. In every one of those cases, typically, you can definitely seek a mentor or somebody who you can meet with that can kind of give you some of that exposure. Also, we have through our workforce development space, we definitely bring in individuals to give them exposure as part of our youth work. So with high school students or folks who are kind of freshmen, sophomore in college, we do have programs where they come in and they would get an assigned mentor. They would get experiences doing a job, but also getting rotations, or not rotations, but job shadowing, to be able to get that exposure to other positions, other opportunities, what life can be like in different roles throughout, right? So most recently, I had a mentee that come in through the summer program, and after he and I talked, he was doing work in recruiting inside of HR. But he really wants to be a doctor. And so we said, okay, great. Well, let's set you up with our health department, right? Our health offices. And we partner with the health hospital system. And so we had an opportunity to meet with 3 of the doctors, learn what it was like to be a doctor. He got to sit work in a clinic that we have on site at our facility, just virtually, because we were doing virtual.
Yes.
Virtually kind of experience it with the doctor and see what that day was like, and it created more passion. And so now he just went to college, just starting his freshman year, and he wants to pursue pre-med. But it's how we do that and take that opportunity to get them connected to all of what we are in every space where we bring in students.
So that's really a well-rounded. So that's extreme, right? So I've never heard of an organization, number one, that has a clinic already tied to it that has a whole infrastructure for healthcare for an organization. I've never heard of that. That's powerful. That's like huge. Really. Go talk to the doctors at the clinic down the hall, right? I love that.
Right.
So and is that in other offices, or is it in one location? That's fascinating.
Right. Well, we have in our headquarters, we have a health center, but we do have other health facilities, stations located throughout our territory, at other large facilities that we have.
Okay.
Yes.
I love it. Well, DTE Energy, you all are doing some wonderful things over there, and it's innovative. I've been doing this for a long time because I'm just this inquisitive person. So for me to hear all of this, to bring me to tears, this is really powerful. Thank you for your commitment to the employment and the empowerment of people. Thank you for your love and your kindness that you're giving your employees and your generosity. And thank you for being a sponsor of the Women of Color. And we are reset to rise with your assistance. So thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Marsha.
Yes, Christopher HooSang, and this is DTE Energy.